The Other Gods, a shilling tale by H.P. Lovecraft. High above the tallest peaks of earth, the ancient gods once dwelled watchful, silent, unseen. They had once lived on lesser mountains, but as men climbed higher and higher, the gods retreated, moving to ever more remote summits, until only one remained. When they left, they erased all traces of their existence, save for a single carving left behind on a mountain once known as Granite. Now they have fled to cut it in the cold, desolate waste, a place no man dares tread. Once they tolerated humanity's curiosity, but no longer. The gods have grown stern, forbidding any to approach. If men knew of Kadat's existence, they would foolishly seek to conquer it, unaware of the doom awaiting them. Yet, sometimes the gods grow wistful. In the still of the night, they return to the peaks they once called home, weeping softly as they try to relive the past. Some men have felt their tears, mistaking them for rain, and have heard their sorrow carried on the wind at dawn. In the land of Aller, beyond the river sky, lived a man named Barzai the Wise One, who knew more of the gods than any other, learned in ancient texts and whispered secrets. He was said to be half a god himself, but knowledge bred arrogance, and he longed to see the gods with his own eyes. He believed his wisdom would protect him from their wrath. On the night of a strange eclipse, Barzai set out with his young disciple, Atul, toward the distant peak of Hatheg-Kla. The villagers feared for them, warning of the dangers that lay ahead, but Barzai laughed at their superstition. For 13 days they journeyed across the barren desert, drawing closer to the mountain wreathed in eternal mist, the place where the gods still danced under the moonlight. And as they climbed higher into the realm of forgotten deities, Barzai would soon learn the terrible price of seeking that which was never meant for mortal eyes. Atul hesitated at the base of the mountain, his voice heavy with fear. But Barzai, old and wise, felt none. With unwavering resolve, he led the way up the perilous slope one no man had conquered since the days of Sansu, whose name still stirred unease in ancient texts. The ascent was brutal. Jagged cliffs, treacherous chasms, and tumbling rocks tested their every step. As they climbed, the cold set in, and snow covered the path. They stumbled often, their staffs and axes their only lifelines. Higher and higher they went, until the air grew thin and the sky took on an eerie hue. For 3 days they pressed on, reaching the roof of the world. Then they waited. The moon glowed cold above the silent peak, but no clouds came. Night after night they watched until the full moon rose, and Barzai spotted them. Heavy, rolling clouds drifted from the north, creeping toward the summit like an unseen force. Barzai, deep in his knowledge of the gods, listened for something beyond mortal perception. But Atul only felt dread. When Barzai, eager and unshaken, urged him forward, Atul hesitated. The mist thickened, swallowing the path ahead. Still he followed. Through the swirling fog, Barzai climbed with unnatural ease, as though he were no longer bound by age or exhaustion. He moved effortlessly across jagged ridges and gaping voids that Atul barely dared to cross. Then, suddenly, Barzai vanished into the mist. Far below, Atul struggled up the final stretch. The light above grew unnaturally bright, the summit eerily clear. A deep, nameless fear gripped him. Then, through the high mists, Barzai's voice rang out wild, exultant. I hear them, the gods of the earth. They sing upon Hatheg-Kla. The wisdom of Barzai has made him greater than the gods themselves. But something was wrong. His joy twisted into something else. Something that made Atul stop in terror. Barzai's voice rose with triumph. No spell can keep me from them. I will see the proud gods, the secret gods, those who spurn the eyes of men. Atul, struggling below, could not hear what Barzai heard. He focused on the steep, bulging cliff ahead, searching for a foothold. But then, Barzai's cries grew shrill. The mists are thin. The moon casts strange shadows. The gods of earth are afraid, for Barzai the Wise is greater than they. They dance wildly, trying to block the light. A strange shift filled the air. as if the very laws of nature were bending. The once impossible climb became eerily easy, the sheer rock offering a path where none should exist. The moon's glow dimmed unnaturally, swallowed by the mist. Then came the scream. The sound not meant for mortal ears, a sound that turned Attal's blood to ice. The moon is dark. The gods, they are terrified. But something else is here, something greater than them. The other gods. The keepers of the abyss. No, no, look away. Do not see. Do not. His voice twisted into laughter. A horrible, endless laughter. Then came the thunder. A deafening crack that woke the sleeping villagers in the plains below. They looked up in horror at an eclipse no scholar had ever foretold. And when the moonlight returned, Adel was alone, lying in the lower snows, his mind untouched by whatever had happened above. He never spoke of that night. He never prayed for Barzai's soul. Years later, men climbed the mountain in search of Barzai. They found no trace of him, only a massive symbol carved into the summit, as if by an inhuman hand. It matched markings from ancient texts, writings too old to be deciphered. And to this day, when the mists rise and the moon is hidden, the people whisper that the gods of earth still dance upon the peak, safe once more in the places men were never meant to go.